What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new Major Ben gaming video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day as always. Now today we're going to be testing Hogwarts Legacy. This is the first video where I have a brand new frame rate counter system that is actually far more accurate. So we're going to dive straight into this one today because we are literally going to go through every single mode in Hogwarts Legacy. But please do consider liking and subscribing as well. If you do enjoy this content, please let me know. And just to start off with, we're going to go over here and we're going to do the high frame rate performance mode. I thought we'd start at the top, get the best FPS, best performance that we can see, and yeah, go from there. So we're going to have a little frame rate counter in the top right hand corner, which is captured from the bottom right hand corner of my screen, actually on my monitor. It actually counts live frame rate, so you can see much more frequently than what the TV was doing, real accurate frame rates with the game capture. Now this game still unfortunately has some stutter issues still, which is a real shame because this game is just all in all just absolutely insane looking. I think it looks really good in this performance mode. From what I understand, from what at least the developers have said and Sony themselves, I think every game mode now on the Pro is using PSSR, but let me know if I'm incorrect. I don't know about all that stuff, but in my opinion this looks really good even in the high frame rate mode that we're in right now. And as you can see, we're well above 60 frames per second, even flying around. Let's go and land somewhere over here. We'll go do the Great Hall test, because I think the Great Hall is something that we should definitely do. There's a lot of NPCs in there, a lot of characters in that area, so I know the game pretty well by now, and I know Hogwarts fairly well after playing this game for a lot of time. So let's go indoors and see what the frame rates are in this area on the high frame rate mode. Right, so we're still above 60 in most cases. There's the occasional drop. This is the standard mode though, and then we can test all the other modes and the ray tracing mode as well. And they've got this decorated for the Christmas stuff, which looks so good. Not yet that time of year, but it's still really nice to see. And as you can see, even indoors we are well above 60s, even going into the hundreds inside, which is very good and shows that obviously inside is definitely less demanding still than outdoors, but you can actually get 100 frames in some cases. If you ever see the frame rate counter jump up to 120, it's normally because it goes below that frame rate window, which means when it gets to below 48, it will let VRR kick in and it will just display 120 frames. So ignore that. It is accurate now. In the menu we are at 120 frames, but let's go to the balanced mode, which is next on this list. So I can already tell that this is looking far worse. So we're well below that VRR window. Let me just make sure that the cap frame rate button was turned. Yeah, let's turn that off. We don't want to cap the frame rate. There we go. That's much better. So as you can see on the balance mode now, it is definitely better visual quality from what I can personally see, but we are looking a little bit, well, quite a lot worse than the high frame rate mode. Obviously the high frame rate mode, we were getting 100 frames per second. Now we are down, and as you can see there, we actually got to that below 48 frames there, which showed 120 for a second, but it's absolutely not. As I say, if you see that, it means it's gone below the VRR window, which is 48 frames per second. So let's go outside in this mode and see if we can see what it's like to fly around and stuff. As you can see there, we dropped below that window. We've got a little bit of a loading thing here as well. Right, let's fly around a little bit here and just see. Yeah, so it's significantly dipping below 120, below 48 frames. Sorry, hence why we're getting that 120 FPS flash on screen at certain instances when I turn around, because it is dropping below that 48 frames per second. So that mode I would not advise. I personally would stick to the high frame rate mode or the performance mode, which is what we're going to look at now. So let's flick over to that performance mode. Some of the other modes we are going to need to restart the game, but it gives you guys a little bit of an idea of some loading times that you can expect to get. So we're in the performance mode with uncapped frame rates and everything as well. So here we go. We can bring up that frame rate graph, as you can see, and we are now looking in the 60s. So it's better image quality than the high frame rate mode. For sure, it is a little bit sharper. Not a huge difference in my opinion, but you are going to take a hit to performance. And as you can see, you are still above 60 though. And that's what's important in these modes. Even if I flick the camera around, we are not going to that VRR low window. So let's go indoors. and take a look, and then what we'll do is we'll test the other two modes after, so you guys can see what to expect. But I have not yet seen, I saw one dip then to below 48, which is why we got the 120 frame action there. Get out of the way. So now indoors, you can see in the performance mode that we are sitting around 70 frames. Now we're inside between 65 on average to 70, I would say, running around, and sometimes dropping below. But there's no big drops into that 48 frames per second VRR window. So this mode is definitely a viable one. Now we're going to need to restart the game, I believe, for the final two modes. I think the Fidelity, let's do not reboot a second. I think the Fidelity mode we can actually do without having to reboot the game, but the Fidelity with ray tracing mode, we are going to need to actually reboot the game fully. So let's just check the Fidelity mode first though. As you can see here, you are getting now better than you used to be able to on the old system for sure, but you are getting a less consistent and definitely below that 60 frames per second. So let's go out though, because I think we're going to drop a lot here. We're going to get a VRR 120 flash up on screen very shortly, I think. Let's have a look. Let's see what this is going to do. So we're still hovering very nicely around that 60 frames. Actually, I'm thinking that this mode, for some reason, will not even go up to 100, and the 60 is actually meaning the 48 frame per second VRR window. For some reason, in the performance, in this Fidelity mode, that cap is going to be the 60 rather than the 120. So that makes sense to me. This is definitely running well below that 60 frames per second for sure in this mode. So let's go ahead and change over to this final mode with ray tracing, which I believe is going to be well below, and we're probably not even going to see anything to show in terms of like frame rate capture here. But let's restart the game and you guys can get an idea of the loading screens while we do that, because it's good to see, right? There's something that's worth seeing. You guys get to see the loading screens, and I may have to bring up my frame rate counter again on my monitor, because sometimes with switching between games or closing games, it mucks up completely. Oh no, we're actually looking okay. We're actually looking all right. So let's dive into this mode one more time, fly around, and we can check out the ray tracing in this mode too. Right, okay. So you can see it's constantly doing that 48 window there. So right, let's just pause and then go to the settings just to make sure we're definitely in the same mode. But we've uncapped it and we've got Fidelity with ray tracing. So this is going to see how things actually run. So again, I think the 60 that it's showing on screen is due to the VRR, as you guys will know. The ray tracing is definitely much better and definitely much cleaner on this PlayStation than the previous one, but we are well below that that 48, hence why it's showing 60. Whenever it's showing 60, basically it's meaning that we're dropping below the 48 frames. So that's kind of expected in a mode like this. I had a 4090 in the past, for you guys who are wondering, and in the end of the day, even that system struggled a lot with ray tracing and it has a lot of different stutter issues anyway. But yeah, I would not expect a mode like this. But let's fly around. So we're going to see probably constant 60 in a minute because of the fact that it's below that 48 frames per second. So yeah, there we go. So it's constantly below. It's very framey and not very nice to play, and I would seriously advise you don't play in this game mode unless you really can cope with 30 frames per second. That's my opinion. You don't have to take it, but that would be my opinion and my suggestion. So I want to just check out one more time the high frame rate performance. I don't know why it needs a reboot. I don't think it does. Oh, no, it does. It just mucks everything up. So we'll check out one more time the high frame rate mode and see what we think about that again, and then flick between the performance and high frame rate mode, because I think, in my opinion, those two are the most viable ones, and I want to see if there's a significant drop in image quality between high frame rate and the standard performance mode, because I don't know. I would play it on the high frame rate one if it's not that big of a difference in graphics detail, right? It's not looking like it's going to be a huge deal between the two. So I'm interested to see what that's actually going to come out to be like. So let's jump back in here, continue. Right, so let's leave this area. As you can see, we are now back to a very nice frame rate. It's so refreshing to come back after you go down to these very low frame rates. It's so much nicer to get back up to these high frame rate modes. It looks just so much better. So let's go and fly around because that's where it impacts frame rate the most. And yeah, so we're well above that frame rate of 60 and we're up into the 90 frames now. It looks really, really nice. Shame there's still stutters in this game. I don't understand how that's not been patched just yet, but let's drop into the just performance mode and see if there's a big difference here. Let's go down to performance and see what the difference is in terms of the frame rate and also the visuals on screen. Right, here we go. Okay, I really cannot tell a difference, to be honest, and we are losing about 20 frames on average. So personally, I think I would just go for the high frame rate mode. Let me just glance into the distance here, see what we're rendering in. I don't think there's going to be a big difference graphically between the two modes here, to be honest, on Pro. So I actually am kind of leaning towards this high frame rate uncapped mode. Oh, there's definitely a resolution here. There is definitely, if you guys can't see it on the video, I can see it in person. There is 100% a resolution hit between these two modes. Let me just jump back again to the other one. But I can see it pretty clearly in person from what I'm seeing, at least. I think it's pretty clear. But yeah, let's just jump back and settings again, because for some reason I think it's capped the performance. So let's uncap it. Sorry if my monitor goes off, I'll have to just reset the frame rate counter and stuff because it sometimes causes a bit of a problem, but hopefully it's gonna do it. Sometimes it goes to no signal on the monitor and just won't display anything. In fact, it's a common problem with capture cards and it drives me absolutely insane. I can't stand it, so I may just have to go fix something for a second. All right, so we're back loaded up now. For some reason it crashes, so apologies for that and any different transitions there, but I just want to test between the performance and the high frame rate mode because I'm actually not sure if it's that big of a difference that I would warrant not playing in this mode, and I want to see it for you guys so I can give my genuine honest opinion and feedback. So let me just burn that image into my brain of what I've just seen, and then we'll go to the high frame rate mode. And is this uncapped? Cap frame rate, why is it locked to on for whatever reason? I don't know. I really don't see a big difference. I'm so interested to see what you guys think between those two modes because I'm feeling like I'd probably just play it in the high frame rate mode. Let me just check that again and go back. This is what I like about testing, is it's not just for you guys. I'm doing it for my own thing of what I'm going to next play in what mode, because I'm going to be playing this game again very soon. And I don't know, it's just interesting to test all these things, to be honest. So let's go back to off for the uncapped frame rate mode because for some reason it's left it on for whatever reason. And we're back on the frame rate counter as well. I don't know. This is such a hard decision. If it's not much of a difference in terms of visuals there, I'd probably just play it on the high frame rate mode, but this mode is also fine. To be honest, everything looks so crisp and clean. I would be pretty much happy with either mode. It just looks so good. So without further ado, let's end the video here. Please leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and if you're enjoying this type of content. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in future videos. Bye-bye for now.